Friday.
It is Friday.
Well, look at the microphone's wobbling. What's that about? Getting excited. Excited because we have just been to see The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I don't know why you need... I feel like it needs to be said in Scottish.
The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Fucking Dumbledore. No fucking way, son. Aye, son. The fucking full secrets. And
All
boy,
of his secrets.
do they release some secrets.
They do.
There's a big one.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you'll have read about if you have gone that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. It's already kind of heavily insinuated in other places, and yeah.
About his sexuality.
Yeah, but like, and a lot of the kind of the backstory, some things that kind of happened in his previous life. But
Yep. So this one is part of the series of Fantastical Beasts. So it's following on from that. Now, I would say go back and watch the previous movie before you go into this one, because I regret not doing that.
Yeah.
Because it took me a few moments at certain points for my brain to rekindle what was being shown.
yeah, because it's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a while.
It was pre-lockdowns and all that crap, wasn't it, when the last one came out?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, there's been some delays.
let's go with... so what we're going to do, we're going to break this down. We're going to break it down into the storyline, the characters, the score, and then an overall rating.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
But let's get this one out of the way, the elephant in the room. The fact that they've just flipped Grindelwald
Yeah.
and they do not mention it.
Yeah, so
So the main protagonist,
yeah, is now a different actor.
antagonist. The protagonist would be
The good guy.
Scamander.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to
Or
butcher the names, by the way, just for preempting. So just, yeah.
Don't get too mad.
Yeah, we're going to...
Or get mad. Just abuse us in the comments.
So they've swapped out, obviously, Jonny Depp had the whole bullshit lawsuit thing going on. Warner Brothers, as loyal as they are, immediately booted him off the actors list. And even though he was obviously exonerated, it was too late by then. They've switched Jonny Depp out for
Mads Mikkelsen.
who is amazing.
Yeah. I fucking love Mads Mikkelsen overall. I think he's a great actor. And this might be controversial, but I actually... the more I think about it, I actually wish he was in from the start. He was a better choice than Jonny Depp.
I am going to have to, with the way this movie's going, the way this series is going, totally agree. He is way, way more serious in this one. As not, we don't mean just as an actor. I mean as a character.
Yeah,
he's transitioned.
Yeah, the whole feel of this one compared to the others, they've leveled it up. Obviously, it happened in the Potters where they started off kind of soft, and then the story progressed. But this did definitely seem like a real shift in the tone.
This has gone further than Potter did.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, overall, this is a very adult tone of movie. Young kids, I think, will definitely be upset by this movie. There's a number of things that happen in it. There was some girls sat next to us, a couple of seats away on the right. You see them.
Yeah.
Admittedly, they looked a little nerdy. They were definitely there. They were fully involved. They were like, this is Potter World time. There are little throwback musical tunes within the whole movie as well, so we'll get onto that later. But there's a certain scene in this movie, a couple of them, and I literally turned to look at them. One of the girls, she literally had her head in her hands, not looking at the screen at all, couldn't look at the screen. And she actually missed a really vital part of the story by not looking at the screen.
Yeah.
So try not to look away if you do go and see it. Just you have to... I think it's important as well to actually sit through the awkward parts of the movie. Yeah. Not to blank them from you and, address them. Yeah. Take them in.
Yeah, because that's part of the whole experience. And it was very, like, we both literally afterwards, we were a bit like, I'm a little bit emotionally drained from that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
We'll get onto that in the conclusion of how we felt.
It's just, there's a lot more going on. It's quite a deep story.
Well, if we rewind to the Fantastical Beasts, there was a lot of magical moments and all this introduction to these wondrous animals and the magic and him being that awkward guy finding himself.
Yeah.
And obviously being introduced into the wizarding world at the time. So it was a lot more happy-go-lucky, the first one. Yeah. To a point. Obviously there were times of trouble, but the main thing was a lot of uplift, wasn't there? There was a lot of funny moments, a lot of comedic things when you're introduced to a lot of this animals.
Even with the Potters, as the Potter films got darker, but it was still, it still felt kind of childish, whereas this, it did feel, I don't know, for me, it felt a little bit more adult. They kind of took away a little bit of the magic. There was heavy kind of, like Nazi kind of insinuations with it, and like you kind of, it was a bit shocking that they went like that way with it in a good way, in my opinion.
Yeah, and there is a definite Hitlerish feel to the new Grindelwald.
Yeah,
But let's let's go. What we're starting with. So we're going to start with actor and character choices. So we both said
Mads Mikkelsen fucking nailed it.
he kills it. You are not going to be disappointed by him taking over that role, and I do believe they're going to stick with him.
Yeah, if it continues,
they could not. The way it ends, they could, because they made no mention to his change in face, which I thought they could have done. They could have just had a really like throwaway line in there of just something like, "So this is the face you're choosing now," you know, just to give them that aspect that he has that ability to change how he wants to look. And
for me, I didn't care that they changed to Mads Mikkelsen. Like maybe like you didn't. I don't think you knew.
I genuinely went into this. I read nothing.
Yeah.
I actually going in thought he was going to be a different character.
Right. Okay.
I thought they were introducing him as a part of that coven.
Yeah.
But I thought he was going to be another addition to keep in alongside Johnny Depp.
Did you notice how everything was? They made everything way more real for Mads Mikkelsen. So Johnny Depp's character, he was like pasty white, like overly white. His hair was overly white. The two different color eyes were much more extreme.
He was almost cartoony, wasn't he? He was a caricature. He was very extravagant. Everything about him was very eclectic and wondrous, and even his mannerisms were very
He's Johnny
Pirates
Depp,
of the Caribbean-esque.
Yeah, he was just Johnny Depp being slightly, a cartoony character.
Yeah, and it worked for that brief time we saw him in the other movie, but
now seeing what Mads has done,
killed it all off.
Yeah, and he's
slick.
He's just got like a little grey streak in his hair. His eyes are different, but it's just a slight change. Yeah. He's just a normal guy, but that's what like Mads Mikkelsen's very good at being intimidating.
His presence is huge, and he's like we said before. If he was to talk to you about why you shouldn't put sugar in your tea, you would then never have any sugar in your tea for the rest of your life.
Yeah, whatever Mads says to you, you just listen.
Brief conversation with him about why you shouldn't. You'd be like, okay, never again. I won't disobey you. Yeah. He is very effective. Yeah. He's very believable, and the evil that there is in this film, I think he's the perfect fit.
I feel like when because I think Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort, like he was a real good actor to kind of like
Embrace
what's the word, like gravitas, the size of him as an enemy, as a foe. Like Ralph Fiennes did a really good job, and I just don't think Johnny Depp was able to bring that same level of intimidation.
He's not the best villain, is he?
No,
that's the thing.
No. I love Johnny Depp in some things. I think he's brilliant, but that just wasn't the right role for him. Whereas Mads Mikkelsen, I think he was able to like level that up a lot. Yeah. So from that,
in an unbelievable world, he's very believable. Mm-hmm. So that is a massive positive on that one. So don't be put off by that fact, as I originally was when I heard out the bit. So moving back onto the main character.
So Eddie Redmayne's Scamander.
Which to me, it still sounds like a Star Wars name of a baddie.
Yeah.
So Scamander, in this, he's very much the same character.
Yeah.
He's still very caring. He's a little bit weary.
Yeah.
He's a little bit less. There is a little bit less happiness to him, and we feel that through most of the movie. So this is an emotionally driven movie. Like we said before, the first one was quite magical and wondrous. There's not a lot of that with the animals. You're not really introduced to many new beasties. Well, not nice ones anyway. And
there's a fucking brilliant one there.
Yes, there's a very good one. But like we said, we're not going to do spoilers on these shows, so you can keep listening with no worries there.
Yeah.
But just there is much more. It's much more humanized in this one. It's character driven rather than being. Now it is huge. I was going to say rather than it being kind of make-believe, but it's character-driven in terms of the storyline. There is a focus on certain animals, but it's less wondrous.
Yeah.
Now, Scamander, again, he kind of reprises the same role. He plays it similarly well, just a little bit wearier, a little bit more... it's a little bit more worry to him about what they have to do, what they've got to get done. He's very aware.
The scale of everything has really kind of gone up a little bit on this one, and you can see because he's such a quiet and timid character, like the world that he's in at the moment is challenging for him, and I think he plays that character really well.
Mm-hmm. Do you think though he went a little bit Rain Man at the end? Just a bit too much on the jaw.
He did. I think he's done it a few times, and there's like a few moments where he's almost
pushing
a little
that
bit
borderline of almost semi.
Don't go full retard.
Yeah. Don't go full retard. And there's a moment in the way you're watching him, you're like, oh, pull that back a bit, mate. Pull it back a bit.
Yes, I know what you're on about because when played Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
And he almost like
goes a bit Hawking.
Yeah, I know this is a bit weird to put it in there, but yeah, that's kind of the vibe.
You'll know what we mean the moment you watch it. And it's not all the way through. There's nothing that detracts from the movie at all. There's just moments where there's a little overemphasis on the jaw movement, and he's like, just ping that in a bit.
Yeah,
because he's not mentally retarded of any or physically retarded that we know of. He's just a bit quirky.
Yeah.
And so he's pushing that boundary a little bit. Yeah. But other than that, he's fantastic, very lovable. He helps bring in a lot of levity to the movie when it's needed.
Yes.
And they do a good job utilizing
really
him.
Funny.
There's laugh out loud moments.
He has like the funniest bit in it throughout, and it's brilliant. And like again, you'll definitely know.
You'll know exactly what it is.
That was brilliant.
And the whole cinema laughed when it happens. You'll know, and it is a great break from it because, like we said, it's a very emotional movie, and you are pulled along on this real kind of dark ride for quite some time. And these moments of levity then stand out so much higher, and they're really appreciative. Like it's even still in a moment of they're in a bit of turmoil still, but it's levity within the turmoil. It's very cleverly done. So the rest of the
Jude Law, I thought brilliant.
He's so good. Not a fan of the cut of his suit in it that he wears. Made him look a bit wide waisted.
Yeah, but again, it's that old fashioned style, isn't it?
I know, but he should have. That waist should have been pulled in there. Like they kind of left him a bit gappy there, but that's just me being fashionably pedantic. But he's very good. He's very engaging. The way he's holding on to his hairline.
Yes.
He's holding on to it well.
Yeah.
He's brought it back.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the beard really suits him. I know this is not to do with the film, but
the beginning of the beard.
Jude Law's just, I think there's been so much, Jude Law's been in so many films where he's never really had much chance to act. And I felt like this was actually, as weird as it sounds, this actually really gave him an opportunity to show like a completely different kind of character.
Yeah.
And he did brilliantly. There was a lot more to him in this, and I think Jude Law was probably the best.
He delivers very well because he's got this this flipped role of having to deal with a family thing going on as well as the world is in danger.
Yeah,
and he has to, and he does a very good job of showing. Sorry, that juice is really strong. Jesus, whiskey's easier than that.
Yeah.
That's the quadruple concentrate, and I think you've done it as a double.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was quadruple.
It's literally dried my entire throat out, and what I want to do now is drink more, but that's the problem, because that's going to get me. Yeah, what you've done is you've made the juice like we would make juice lollies as kids when we put them in freeze, and your mum would be like, "Where's all the Ribena gone?" I made 4 lollies.
I forgot that it was quadruple strength. Sorry about that.
Jude Law, amazing. Really nails it. Again, every time he's on the screen, he's very engaging, and he even a lot of the moments with Jude Law are wordless, and that's where he stood out for me.
Yeah,
him and Max both.
Yeah,
the utilization of just expression, and then obviously using the score of the movie behind those moments really, really, really brought their characters to the forefront.
Yeah, and Dan Folger again added like a lot of kind of. He's the kind of lovable dope who's been dragged along for the whole thing.
Yeah.
But
so what's his character name?
Jacob. Oh, it's Kowalski.
Kowalski.
Yeah, it's Kowalski. That's where it's.
He again brings a nice bits of levity to the movie, but they again explore more of his personal relationships in it. So, like we said, the characters they're not just run through the same again. You're getting more into each character.
Yeah, you dig a little deeper.
Which shows they're building them for the later movies, which is good. I like to see that.
Yeah, hopefully so. We'll see. Like I'm not going to say anything about the actual ending, but it did just leave it. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's not it.
Yeah.
You don't really know. There was kind of a conclusion,
but not really.
Yeah, that's to be honest my main gripe with the overall thing. Should we kind of move on to I guess the story?
Any other big stars? So I mean, a lot of the substitute characters. There's nobody in the supporting cast that is left behind. They all stand kind of shoulder to shoulder through the movie. Nobody's irritating in any way, shape, or form. Even the baddies, you're completely with them in it. It's,
it was cast wise overall. I thought it was
solid. One of the most solid ones I've seen. Normally, there's one person that it grinds on me.
Yeah,
not one in this movie.
Yeah,
not one. So storyline wise, they drop you in.
Yeah.
That's why I say go and watch the Fantastical Beasts again first, so that you have the background of some of the magic that's involved. But there is a lot of untold spell doing in this movie. You just have to accept
Yes.
certain things, and you're like, we're not explaining how it works.
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of being in the wizarding world. They can just be like, okay, how are we going to get around this? Well, we'll just invent this thing.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, how are we going to explain that? I was like,
We don't need
just don't need to.
Yeah, we'll just use
It's
it multiple times so that they get used to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a number of those moments in it where you're like, how did we get told about that?
Yeah, I was just like, why don't they have that in the Harry Potter films?
Yeah, it's just not there.
Yeah.
Which it does make you wonder, though. They're going to have to be careful that they don't utilize stuff in this movie that will undermine the storyline of Harry Potter. Because you'd be like, well, why didn't they just use that in that movie?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. I thought, again, that the story was good. Like, it wasn't, in terms of, I was happy with it. It didn't, it didn't kind of enthrall me. Like, I really got sucked into the Potter films a lot more. But again, there's more of them. There's more nostalgia
Remember,
with
this
that,
is
I
build
guess.
up time still that we're in here.
Yeah, yeah. So,
I mean, it's the usual thing that the world's in peril. They have to have a task where they have to defeat the, Grindelwald's trying to destroy. We know this, that the story is basically that Grindelwald is trying to destroy the Muggle world, make the wizards and witches the top tier again, but he has ulterior motives behind those motives, which you'll learn in the movie. And I think in terms of how they keep you in the dark as to how it's going to conclude, they do a kind of a 7 out of 10 job.
Yeah.
And they try to make you forget certain things by distracting you in other ways.
Yeah.
But I didn't get distracted enough to forget that major thing that you're supposed to be a bit like, oh, at the end. I was already aware that was going to happen.
Yeah. I had that as well. Like, I did feel like, and they do it on purpose. Like, the part of it is the fact that there's multiple things all going on, and it's to like just add an element of chaos to it. And it didn't quite work for me. Like, I'm glad you said the same, because I was just like, well, yeah, it was a little bit predictable.
That takes
with
the
that.
oomph out that end, doesn't it? Because you're not left. They're not. But if you see things,
Trying to say it without saying it.
without saying it. You want these moments in movies where you're like, oh, everything's fucked, and they get you at points of that. But then I mean, it might be if you're completely engrossed, it will distract you enough. But if you're like me and Lou, who are constantly dissecting stuff, especially knowing we're going to do a review afterwards, you might pick it out. So I would suggest just maybe try not to dissect things too much and just enjoy it as it goes along. But I think it's a strong storyline, and I think more than anything, it's the way that they are developing the characters that really, I was fully engaged. There's no moments where I kind of waned off, got bored. There wasn't anything to do with that. And it's a 2.5. We think it's 2.5 hours long?
Yeah, it's thereabouts 2.5.
What's the runtime of it? Do we know?
Let me have a little look.
Because obviously we get to the cinema and then we have to watch it
It's
about...
2 hours, 23 minutes.
That's the actual runtime. So we're not far off. So let's tell you this now. There is no post-credit scene.
Oh, yeah.
Don't hang around.
Don't hang around. We did.
You'll just get a big blue Warner Brothers sign.
Yeah.
And everybody going, oh.
Yeah. I said, fuck you, Marvel, for fucking making us wait around now. Because it's literally Marvel has done that. Because before, there was the odd film that would do it.
I'm sure they did it in a couple of Harry Potters. There was little...
Yeah, I think they
little
did.
Ones and some
but
of
now everyone just expects it all the time.
You should just do them, man.
Yeah.
Give us something. It only has to be something.
I know.
So, we've got through the story. So overall, storyline, it doesn't leave you waiting. It's engaging throughout. Let's do
2.5 hours went quick.
The cinematography.
Yeah.
Really impressed.
I thought it was very pretty.
Really. Now, this is a huge, huge, huge CGI movie.
Yeah.
Huge. Like, I don't know. I'd say 20%, less than 15% of it's real.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, there's so much green screen.
Even on the sets that are built, you can see where they've added things in CGI. But the transitions between when they go from one part of the storyline to another, every time are just these beautiful, huge, sweeping landscape, score-driven shots that just pull you into the next scene. That can just be a conversation, but it just pulls you in with such gravitas that you're already engaged before it starts.
Yeah, it was a very, very pretty film. They did a great job, and I'm not that much of a fan of heavy CGI use, and I understand in this context of what the film is, they kind of have to, because again, it's not even in modern times. No. So even when they're in a street in New York, they can't just go to New York and film because New York doesn't look like that anymore. So I thought, they did a real good job of it. Some of the special effects that they used with some of the spells were really nice. There was one bit, I'm not going to say what it is, but with when she throws the book and then they run.
Really, really well done.
Beautiful. I really thought, and like you could feel the
and again, when they're doing the spells, they don't just they show it you for elongated periods now as well in these movies. So you're not only getting a spell being cast, but you're getting an action scene within the spell being cast.
Yeah.
And that is so good. It's so well done. And it gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I got legitimate goosebumps a couple of times because it was just, it's beautifully done. And even the fight scenes, which used to be lackluster for me in the Harry Potter movies, especially that end scene that it still pisses me off, the Voldemort finishing scene with Harry.
Yeah.
I really dislike how he just wastes away like slowly, and there's
Turns
like
to
this
paper.
just meh. It's just I don't like it, and I feel like there could have been more done with the one battle. With the one battles in these, they're like sword fights / gunfights. There's like
more weight to 'em.
Western-esque style shootouts in it. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's worthy of child and adult engagement.
Yeah, and just in terms of the kind of the sets that they kind of covered, they showed lots of other countries as well. There was somewhere, so I think it was in Berlin for a little bit. Then there was somewhere in Tibet, and like New York as well. Like, I don't know, it just felt, it was nice to see more of the Wizarding World
In different environments.
Yeah, that's not
yeah,
in the UK.
out of those borders. Yeah.
So that was quite nice. The Tibet,
And that's where we get these big sweeping scenes coming in when we're transitioning from one part of the storyline to another as well. And that's how they did it. Oh, yeah. Those moments, they were great. But the utilization of CGI lighting as well was very clever. So what they did on a lot of the big scenes, they utilized kind of dust particles and very specific lighting to give it this realistic feel. And it's done very, very well.
Yeah.
So overall, great way of using CGI if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
The score,
Again, pretty
nice,
good.
heavy orchestral sets, but we still have lots of the Harry Potter tune thrown in, but with more bass, a little bit more. I'd say there's more mid-tone and bass in it.
Yeah, it felt like it fit perfectly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the same. Do you know what I mean? It was like it was an extension of it, and again, it fit nice.
They're not utilizing the same music, but there's moments where they go to certain places you'll recognize, and they used specific tunes for those places.
Yes.
So it brings back that reminiscent kind of feeling of when you first saw
Yeah,
them.
that one scene was really good.
Yeah, that was great.
Well, that whole little like
And you just hear it kick in, and you get the little tingle. Yeah, love it. So,
yeah, and it kind of made me miss it though. Like, in a way, I was just like,
100%.
oh, I wish I was.
Well, I think that's part of the melancholy from the movie, but we'll discuss that as well.
Yeah.
So overall, the music makes it, especially during the battle scenes.
Yeah.
The music is we saw this in the IMAX again. I think it's a must.
Yeah, I was going to say
The big screen, the scope of the scope of this movie is so huge. I think you need to see that in the IMAX. It's worth the extra. Just the score, those battle scenes, without that boom, boom, boom coming in with those one shots, I don't think you get the same.
Yeah, definitely. IMAX is another good shout out. I don't feel like this is as essential for IMAX.
If you don't have one nearby,
IMAX,
I think you will still very much enjoy it in a normal.
If you do have the option, definitely take it. But it's still worth going to watch, even in a normal cinema. I think you'll lose. Like, this is one, if you wait to watch this at home, you're not gonna get it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you're gonna lose a lot of that fun and a lot of that kind of that
because of the way that they
scenes.
pull the music in. It doesn't just, in moments it hits you all in one go, boom. But in other ones they pull it in from one angle to draw it out of another, and it moves with the scenery as well. If you notice that, as it swings and moves, it gets louder and it comes in as they hit. It's clever, and you won't get that without that surround effect.
No, yeah, that's very true. That is one of the sound really is the main thing that makes a difference when you go into an IMAX.
What's funny is when we're watching the one scenes. When they're fighting, I can't stop my brain doing this. Imagine them doing it with the green screens there, and obviously there's no magic or anything. There's just them pointing sticks at each other.
Yeah.
And this time my brain removed the music as well.
Yeah.
And then I was literally in the middle of this big fight scene. I just went because all I could see was two guys just going. Yeah, I just thought, imagine if you took the music out of this and then just put in something like, instead of it being like, it'd be like, take that.
Yeah. you just hear their shoes squeaking on the floor, like
just oh. That'd be hilarious if we could take the footage and just do that to it. I think we might do it just for a fun one.
Yeah.
Just put in the most basic and awful sound choices for each moment. Yeah, like tennis.
Yeah.
And when it's and then like you said, squeaking of the shoes.
Yeah.
And when they go to launch a big spell, just be like. Yeah.
So I think overall, are we going to move on to the overall?
Yep. So conclusion of the movie. So we've got the sound. CGI's all great. Loved it. IMAX, if you can. Conclusion of the movie. So the ending, it's not going to disappoint you. It's also not going to wow you.
Yeah.
But it does leave you on a happy note,
Yes.
which is a nice thing. I hate it when a movie leaves you feeling like, what the fuck? Like, I know sometimes it's good, but they wait so long between. Like, you can't leave people like that.
No.
I think it's just like, but even so, it's so emotionally driven, this movie. When it finished, I literally turned to you and was like, I feel a bit mentally drained.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely did. So it's a Friday morning. It's now 3:00, and I've just about perked back up, and we got out at like 1:30.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it takes you on a roller coaster. It really does, and that's a brilliant thing. But it wasn't what I was expecting. So I think if you go in knowing that, you know, there's going to be some ups and downs,
It's more human.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Way more.
which is really hard. Like, I feel like I never felt that with the Harry Potters. It always felt that magical that it was kind of like I was never really that connected.
Yeah, this one does a really good job of,
It just
of humanizing it.
yeah, and
There are
which I
moments
think
that
is
are
a
hard to
good
watch.
thing.
There's moments that's hard to watch, and they do it very well.
Yeah, I do think that's a good thing, but I think it just caught me off guard.
Yeah, it did me too, because obviously we were going off the first one, just these wondrous environments with the beasties and the animals you're getting introduced to. Well, this is a much darker, much darker.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's a.
But I'm glad I'm
12A. That's probably about right because
Oh yeah, definitely.
there's like a little bit of
There is
things that are
death.
quite nasty.
There's a moment in this, and you'll know what it is when it happens, where something occurs, it's thrown onto a ledge, and you're like, oh, this isn't for kids. yeah, there's that one moment that definitely when they're like, they put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
And that's the stamp.
Yeah.
So that's how, and I like it. I like the way that the series is going this way, this quickly, because I thought, for me with the Harry Potters, when you watch them through, it's hard to watch those first 4 through again, because they're a little bit childish. Whereas this one's...
I kind of like that, but
I know, because you're growing with the kids in the movie, but we don't have this with this, so it needed to move quicker.
Yes, yeah, I do agree.
need to move quicker.
I wonder if they had Mads in from the start, whether they would have changed the tone just because of how he played Grindelwald.
Yeah, well, maybe it was the best thing that could have happened. Score out of 10 overall?
Can I give a 0.5?
Yeah, if you can give a 0.5.
I'm always going to have 0.5s. I'm going to go for a 7.5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so solid. Really enjoyed it. Didn't love it. Happily would watch that again.
Yeah.
But I think I can't say exactly what it is. I just didn't. I felt the story just felt a little disconnected from the others a little bit because.
Yeah.
In a good way that it's like I feel like they've leveled it up, but now almost like I was like, oh man, the other ones were like not on a par now. Do you know what I mean?
I'm going 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Mainly 2 reasons. Like you said, you're dropped in a little into an emotionally charged movie right off the bat, and I kind of like that. But also, we're dropped in. I think there could have been a little bit more given towards the magic in terms of explaining a couple of things.
Yeah.
And just the ending for me, not the actual ending, the conclusion of the kerfuffle.
Yeah.
I wasn't distracted enough to fall for it. So I would have given it a 9 otherwise, because I think one of the most solid casts I've ever seen in a movie. That's absolutely amazing. They didn't do any of that nonsense of casting people for skin color or weight or anything like that. People were cast for the roles, and they were all fucking brilliant in it. And the score was great. The cinematography was just brilliant, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So there we go.
There's going to be a next one.
Fingers crossed. There's got to be. After that, has to be.
Okay.
Can't not be a success. So there you go. We've kept it to half an hour, which is still quite long, but that is it. That was the Secrets of Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And so there you go. An average score of 8 out of 8. Did I say 8 or 8.5?
You said 8.
I'll give it 8.5. So an
Average
average score of 8. It's worth an 8.5. I think it is.
No, I'd definitely watch it. Like I said, 7.5 does not mean not to go and see it. I think it's still 100%. I just want to save that upper ceiling for things that I really love.
Secrets of Dumbledore, 8 out of 10. Definite watch. IMAX if you can.
Yeah.
Let us know if you enjoyed this. Don't forget to rate us, leave a comment, subscribe, like, and do all those cool things. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I feel like we need to ask a question that they should put in the comments if they're watching on YouTube.
You've got 30 seconds. Go.
Oh God, how big's your penis?
Does your wand bend to the left or the right? That's it. We'll catch you in the next one. Toodle pip.
Bye.